So as I mentioned, Dean Ellingson, one of our members and our vice president, is going to inform us today about how you submit your artwork to the Clackamas Arts Alliance to be included in their annual art program. Turn it over to Kim.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, one of the things that I was talking with Shar the other day is that she said maybe you need to introduce yourself a little bit about your background, how you got into painting. So help me if I miss one of the 3 points. Point number 1, oh, I forgot the first point already. I've been painting for 10 years. I retired exactly 10 years ago this last June. And you know, one of the things they say is that you need to have something to do when you're not working anymore. And I had a background in, I was responsible for the financial reports for a mental health agency for a number of years. I also then moved into banking and was responsible for human resources and for marketing. So very business-like focus. And I just knew that when I retired, I did not want a business focus. I wanted something different. So I just thought, well, let's do something. Let's do some art. And I decided that watercolor would be the way to go because it's easy to clean up, and I didn't have much space. The house we had before we moved here, we moved from Wisconsin. And in Wisconsin, most houses have a basement. And if you're ambitious, you finish your basement. So when we bought the house, the previous owners had taken half of the basement. You know, the basement would be about the size of this room. So this half they finished. They put in this beautiful burgundy carpeting, real thick and plush. They finished the ceiling and walls. They had the can lights, hot lights, whatever. It was the perfect place for my husband's pool table. I retired about 10 years after we moved in. Now I have a hobby. I have my first hobby, right? Well, the other side of the basement is the business side of the basement. So the workbench with the dried up old cans of paint are over here, and along this aisle, this wall, it's a washing machine, a dryer, a utility sink. There's the furnace and the hot water heater, and I'm right in that little spot. I don't care, it's mine. And it was great. You know, then in a couple of years, the COVID started, and I was learning how to paint from YouTube, like everybody in the world, I think, at that point. And I learned a lot. I was just amazed at all of this free information. It was great. So that's basically my background. When we moved here, I was looking for a community of artists to align with, and I saw the North Clackamas Arts Guild, and they were doing Zoom meetings. Bless their hearts, the challenges to keep an organization going through those years had to have been horrific, and yet they hung in. And when they started opening up their meetings again, it's like, I'm there, I'm coming. So I think I've been a member since 2023. And I'm not a professional, and you know, self-schooled, so I really felt I could learn a lot from this group. My first experience in displaying my art was at the Gladstone Art Festival in 2024. In fact, it was in this very room that I had a pinky swear with Carmen Ruska, who had just joined the group, and she said, "We can do it." And I'm going, what? So that was a crash course in how to display your work. But and I should just go back a little bit to back in Wisconsin. When I started this whole journey, I started in our journal to take notes in, and one of the things I had to do was put a goal. What was my goal in painting? because I was from a business background, and that's what you always do. And my goal was to sell a painting to someone I didn't know. That was my goal. Okay. So we're at the festival, and a woman, a lot of people were coming in. It was a really good festival. A woman comes in, she's looking at my stuff, and she goes, I'll take that one. I said, okay. And that one, and that one. Woo! It was the best feeling. It was the best feeling. That was great. So I packed up her stuff, I got my money, this is great. About an hour later, I get a text from her, and she sends me a picture. And the picture is a wall in her home that has my 3 paintings painted. You know, at that moment, I went, my original goal was wrong. It got my art into somebody else's home, but I missed the real point. The real point was a connection. When people, and no one ever told me this when I was watching all those videos, learning how to do hard edges and soft edges. And nobody ever told me what that feeling is when somebody looks at your art and looks at it. And they're not saying anything. You don't even know if they're breathing. And you, oh my gosh, you know, and it's like, when I painted it, I wasn't expecting that kind of reaction. And not every painting will have that same kind of reaction. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So when people bring their work here and we get to share it, it is just so special. It's just so special. So I got a little confidence with that art show. I thought, okay, I can do this. And I was taking a mixed media painting class at the time at the Milwaukee Center. Who was the instructor? Me, you. Right on cue, thank you. So Louisa Motis was doing this, was a mixed media class, and I had never done anything like this before, and she happened to bring up the North Clackamas Arts Alliance, or it's the Clackamas Arts Alliance Artist Exhibit Program. And she said she had done it. Oh my gosh, she's a legit artist. I was like, oh my gosh. But I did, you know, once you get a little older, you get a little fearless. I'm like, what's the worst they can do? They can just say, no thank you, right? So I said, well, we're gonna try this. So I waited and thought and waited. I took some photos of my work, because I knew you would have to upload photos of your work, and decided that the very last day to submit it, and I punched the button. And I was accepted. Yay! Yay!
Now the real work.
Now the real work. Well, it's, I was so surprised at what a good program this is. I'm going to now put on my Ariella Sophie hat, because I'm sure she and I got our wires crossed. I was texting her and emailing her, and she's very, very conscientious, so we got something mixed up. How do you find out about this program? First of all, if I were you and you are on the internet, I would enroll and make sure you get it's a weekly newsletter, right? It's weekly.
Yeah, her emails.
You get emails. They tell you about all these art opportunities, educational opportunities, opportties for music venues. They'll tell you everything that's going on, and also occasionally a call for artists. And when you go online and you find it, the first thing I would suggest you do is, and my printer, I don't know what happened here, it's a foreign language today. I said to my husband, what did we do wrong here? But anyway, this is the handbook. And this would be the first thing I would advise anyone to do, is open up the handbook and take a look. they revised it this year. The last one, I think, was 2026. Everything you need to know is in here before you ever decide to even apply. It's all right here. Very straightforward. They now have lovely color pictures. The program, in essence, takes county artists, puts their work in
18.
18? It says 22 galleries.
Okay, 22.
22 galleries within 12 venues. So there are a few sites that have 2 galleries. They are at the Beaver Creek Health Center in Oregon City, the Clackamas County Development Services Building in Oregon City, the Clackamas County Public Service Building in Oregon City, the Gladstone Library, the Hoodland Library, the Happy Valley Library, Milwaukee Historic City Hall, not the one where the government is in now, but the one where the coffee shop and the brew pub is, Oak Lodge Library, which is next to the Concord Center, the Providence Willamette Fall Medical Center, the Sunnyside Health Center, the Sandy Public Library, and the Wilsonville City Hall. So it is a county program, so there are going to be some venues that are a little farther away. So you must take that into consideration when they offer you a particular site. What did I say? I said that. I said that.
Yeah, so you might be waiting a few months to get an email about saying,
Yes.
well, can you do this location
There
at
is-
these dates?
There is a lovely timeline. Let's see if I've got it.
And you have to read it very carefully, that email.
Yeah. So, right now, as I understand it, the applications you're available, you can begin applying August 17th. And the deadline is September 30th. So, don't wait till September. And you will get a notification within a couple months. It does take a little while. But they will, one day, send you a little note saying, congratulations, you've been selected, and then you go all crazy, and it's all such fun. You've been accepted to participate in the Clackamas County Arts Alliance exhibit program. A selection of your artwork, the same or similar to what you applied with, will be exhibited sometime in the following year. And they then send you a letter, and it's all email, it's all electronic. They will send you a proposition of where they would like your work to be displayed. This year, this was last year. Last year I was at the Beaver Creek office in Oregon City. This year I'm in the Wilsonville City Hall. So when you get that, you also get an agreement to sign electronically and all the details about what your responsibilities are to bring the art, to collect the art, that you will not let any art leave the gallery. Should you sell it, they have to wait until the end of the period. And it's like, it could be close to 3 months that your work is being displayed. I think that there are some things you have to consider, and I was just talking with Connie a little bit about how this might work. And one of them is you have to have enough work to display, and that these are sometimes pretty large areas, so they're going to suggest 6 to 9 pieces. And they do all the work for you. They do all the hanging. But you're going to want to make sure that you don't need any of those pieces for another event within that period of time that you're exhibiting. Another thing that was news to me that I didn't know about, besides photographing my work, and did you know that if you have a watercolor under glass and you take a picture of it, you have a picture of yourself? I could not fight that reflection to save my soul. So you YouTube again. And they were telling me just pop it out of the frame, and it's okay, fine. That helps a lot. I learned that. I learned how to affix D-rings and wire. I learned what a D-ring was. But you know what's so great? Again, the Alliance knows that they're dealing with people who are maybe not professionals. They've got pictures of the acceptable D-rings and what isn't acceptable and what you need so that they can hang it on their hanging system, which is a uniform kind of
Yeah, it's like a Japanese hanging system.
right, and it's lovely, so they can adjust your painting. They do a beautiful job. When your paintings are, when you're accepted, there's another little work you have to do, and that is to fill out a price list. So you will get you'll access a form that asks you to list the title of your work, the size of your work, the medium it is, and the price. So they then, from that information, will create these beautiful displays that'll go right next to each painting, and how to contact you if they are interested in purchasing it. I was just amazed at how easy it was. You just pack up your paintings, you go to that particular site for the day, that morning or whatever, and this lovely woman, I forget her name, is doing all the heavy lifting, literally the heavy lifting, so I think she,
Is that Chelsea?
I don't know,
Yeah, Chelsea.
well, she's the new director.
It
But
was Sue Allen.
Sue Allen,
She's
she
retired.
was.
Sue is
She's-
retired.
But there's
Yeah,
another
she
woman
is
who does the
retired.
hanging.
She did it last year though, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's Chelsea, and then Trieste did hanging for a minute, but it's gonna be someone else.
Yeah. So I haven't met her yet. So what I've seen from all the material, she's done a really good job in explaining what needs to be done. If you haven't done this already, they will ask you for a short artist statement. How many have written their artist statement? Well, hey, that's excellent. We could do a little.
We have a video on our YouTube, don't we? It was a couple of years ago
Do we?
now, though. But I would suggest going to our YouTube channel, because I think that's pretty comprehensive.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great, because it's, when you're looking at this for the first time, you are like, what? You know, I'm painting to show a picture. I don't have to write words about what I do, right? I mean, that's what connects your viewer, connects you to the painting. It creates an emotional connection. What inspires you? Why do you paint? Because remember, a lot of people who are looking at your work are not artists, and we're kind of like an odd kettle of fish to them. So giving them a little insight into your inspirations and what makes you happy. It could be vibrant color choices, it could be subdued neutrals that are peaceful for you and you want to convey that to others. Put it on there. And it's very short. I think it's 50 to 100 words. But you'll want to have that written before you start doing your form. Yes?
There's also the little bio that gives them a little more information about what kind of art you do, why you do it, what brought you to the art. And you put this on the back of the painting with your personal information. And this way they know actually when you go home with the painting, who the artist was. So they're familiar with you. You're not just a painting, you know, just a painting. They know you by the person who's
And if they
painting.
want another one, they can contact you, right?
Right.
Right. Now that's a good point. That's a really good point, because the thing that I found so interesting about this process, the way the Arts Alliance structures it, it mimics, and if you've done any kind of applications to a major art festival or a gallery, it mimics exactly what they would request. If you were going to an art gallery or you're going to the Lake Oswego Art Festival and you want to apply, you'll know how to do this. They'll all ask for the painting title, they'll all ask for the prices, they want to see pictures of it, you'll have to take a photo and upload it. And software is very, very easy to do this. But this is what's different from the studios and the art shows and the festivals. When you apply to these places, you generally have to pay an application fee. What are we charging or paying these days for application fees?
$35.
35 or 40 sometimes.
So, and that's sometimes for the privilege of being declined. And they don't refund it. They do not refund it. So that happened to me a couple times, and I was a little upset.
How do you feel about it?
Well, they had to evaluate the work. I understand. The next thing
But there's no fee.
there is no commission fee. So we talk about this a lot too, where if you go to a gallery, it's going to be 30%, maybe more.
50 is pretty standard for a gallery.
Yeah.
50%.
And they have to cover costs. I mean, that's understandable. I see that. But we don't pay that with the artist exhibit program. Finally, if you are at, I don't know, Lake Oswego's Art Festival, or you're in the Pearl over Labor Day, you're paying hundreds of dollars for the right to pitch your tent, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think, I was at Gresham this year, and they're higher now. They were 125, I think they're 140.
Oregon City is 200.
But that's 2 days, right?
That's 2 days.
That's 2 days, okay.
Some are 500 to 600.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running in between the venues.
And they've got reputation, they're gonna be bringing in all the patrons and all the art buyers, so, but you have to price your art accordingly as well to be able to cover your expenses. So there's no charge for that. This is 100% no fee for you to have the experience of having your work hung in a public place. That part, but when I started doing some of these applications, but that makes sense. Maybe we did that.
Can I just share a little experience, because
Please stand up. Stand up. I can get a drink.
when I joined here, I felt like I wanted to be a professional, and I felt like a semi-professional. I joined right after the pandemic too, around the same time Kim did. Joined here 2022 or so, and one of the places I showed early on was the Clackamas Arts Alliance program, and my first show there. It was kind of nestled in a spot not a lot of people see, but it was a pure white wall with a professional hanging. 8 or 9 of my paintings hung up perfectly evenly, and I stood next to those, and I got a photo of my first solo show.
Yay.
And it just looked, and so I could use that to show, hey, I've had a solo show. And they had an orientation where they went over the nitty-gritty of how to do all your hanging, all your framing, all of that. Now we do that here in our group too, but this is just another opportunity. And then I did such a nice job, and I was easy to work with, that when they had a little bit of a layover issue between new employees and retiring employees, they said, well, we got some extra months, would you show again? So they then put me in the hospital. But coincidentally, I did have a family member there at the time, so it was nice to be able to tell my mom that my art was there, and it made her feel a little bit more comfortable about being in that hospital. And then I was able to see, by going to other people's exhibits, you see that little red dot, you can see what kind of art sells best in different locations. Now, I haven't had a sale through this yet, but I think that the type of art I was showing just wasn't the best combo, but that's something to learn, you know? And then you can see the different price points, the different artists are charging and what they're selling at what price points. And it's a low stress entrance into displaying your art at this level of that many pieces, 6 to 9 pieces, you know? And, but you need to, you know, be really on top of being there on time, being ready, having all your hanging right, and then coming and picking up your art. And I found it's very easy to move my paintings inside a roller suitcase or some kind of roller cart, because you're kind of carting from a parking lot at a hospital or an office building, and then carting it in. And if you don't want to, something on wheels will really help. And that was just and then it made me feel more confident and more confident and more confident. And you know, I was recently at the Oregon City Arts Festival of the Arts, and you know, the painting I had last month at the picnic, the big one, it's sold. So you get the more experience and showing and the confidence, and it can help you launch your art career if that's what you want to do. And I would highly suggest taking advantage of this program.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew there were people who have been in the program, and I wanted to hear anything you would like to add or a personal experience that you
My
had.
experience
And your
was,
name again is?
Diana Schaefer.
Diana Schaefer.
I do have my name.
There you go.
My experience was, my exhibit was going to be at the Hoodland Library, which is, you know, Sandy. And the day that I was supposed to deliver my paintings, there was also a probability of an ice storm up that way. And these people are so nice. They will accommodate you in that they came and picked up my paintings at Rose Villa because the person lived over in West Lynn. And then on the other hand, when it came to taking them down and collecting them, there was also a threat of a storm. The person who took down the storm met me in the Oregon City shopping center to deliver the paintings. But normally, you know, you would be responsible for that, but what I'm trying to say is they are very people-oriented, very conscious of people's needs. I can't say enough about them.
Oh, that's great.
They would go the nth for you to get that exhibit up.
That's
So,
great. Thanks.
So, this will be my 6th year.
What?
exhibiting.
Wow.
So I've had a lot of different experiences. I too was put in the hospital. I love that, what she said. And what was so memorable is we were putting the paintings up and people were stopping that were in the hospital. And I've had one of my good painting friends, their wife was in the hospital. And he was taking her to see the work while she was admitted. So it's a wonderful experience. Everything is professionally done. The thing that I would recommend is be professional too. Show up on time, pick up your paintings on time. I always send a thank you note or a thank you email. It's just a way to recognize the county who is really supporting emerging artists. It's a really great program. So, and yes, you do have to have a large body of work. I think I've had to show up to 15 paintings in one. So I think that's, I'm gonna show in November, so.
All right.
Where are you at this time?
I get a good spot in the gallery at the county.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to add to Mrs. comments that depending on the venue that you're assigned to, they will let you know how many pieces
Yes,
you need to
yes,
bring.
yes,
So
the
it
different
works out
sizes.
really well.
It's on the document.
Yeah.
Everything is on the document.
They do have a very.
Yes.
Oh,
You
what?
are
Marietta.
Marietta.
So I too applied and was accepted, and like you, I was, wow, the first time. So I have an exhibit right now, it's my second time,
Okay.
and I would say that, it is very structured, like you said, with the booklet and the online paperwork, but don't let that intimidate you. Just, take it step by step, take your time, and they're very welcoming. And the reason I applied the first time was because they said that they were, it was for emerging artists. So you had the feeling that they wanted to help you get started. And I was very intimidated by all the instructions on the D rings. And I thought, what have I done wrong? So I'm very fortunate that I have a sister and a niece who are professional framers. So they actually put my D rings in the first time. Well, my sister's in Colorado, and my niece, who wasn't until I moved to Southern Oregon. So the second time I had to do it all by myself. But I did. And so now I've learned how to put D rings in. And another thing that I found very helpful, because they asked, I don't know if they asked if you had a theme, but I felt it would be good to have a theme to tie the pictures together. Well, the first time I didn't really have a theme other than these were all something that made me excited, and I want to share the excitement. But then this next time I did have a theme, and it helped me, work on having a theme to tie pieces together.
Marietta, that's a really good point, because if you maybe aren't exactly ready this year, you're going, wait, I have to make an application next week, I have to be ready the end of next month. No, you can work on this for next year.
But you could do it.
Depending what you have in your inventory, sure.
And when you apply, I think you only have to send 5 photographs.
Mhm.
So your work can
Right.
still be in progress.
That's true, that is true.
And
Absolutely.
then you won't get notified until about November.
And you get the whole next year, right?
And
that
then you're
they
gonna
schedule.
show some time in the
Yeah,
next year.
that's a good point, I'm glad you brought that
So
up.
like right now, I'm showing from, like May to August or something. So I would have had all this time, and I did actually have the same pieces I applied at the Canby Library, was accepted there. So I had all this time to get ready for that, and then I just selected some of them for this.
Do we have to wrap it up?
We do,
I'm sorry.
because we have a lot of paintings on the
Okay.
table over there.
One more comment.
Looking around the room, I've been here longer than any of you. I've been here 21 years. And I was chosen way back when this Art Alliance was really starting out. I was one that asked, and they asked artists from all over the county to come, and we went to a meeting out in Beaver Creek. And they asked for our advice on how to put this together, how to
Nice.
advise, how to make
wow.
the decisions for
That's
these
cool.
things. I was on one of the first committees that helped develop the background for this program. And it is so wonderful to see how it's come about, how it's grown so much.
Thank you. That's wonderful perspective. I really
I
appreciate that.
started with North Clackamas Arts Alliance in 2005. So, and I think Connie was not very far behind me. So we're probably about the oldest here, not only the oldest, but been here the longest.
Well, my last closing comment, I just want to say really quick, was even if you have no interest in selling your work, that doesn't trip your trigger, just think of what you could do for those people in the hospital or the people that are in the county courthouse, or the people walking through the library who get to have art come into their lives and make their day. And if that's what you want to accomplish, have it with the sales. You've really done what art is supposed to do. So, thank you for listening. I'm sorry, Ariel, I wasn't there.